Hello, I'm Yinka Bikini and welcome to Out of Frame. Have you ever watched a movie and wondered where exactly was this filmed? Where did they find these amazing costumes and how did they get that bullet wound to look so real? Well, this is the podcast to find out. Every week I'll be speaking to incredibly talented people from below the line. That's everyone on a film or TV set who helps bring a production to life. Join me inside CrewHQ, a training centre based at the heart of Warner Bros. Studios Leavesden, to peek behind the curtain and take a look at Hollywood like you've never quite seen before. This is Out of Frame. Today on Out of Frame, I'm joined by a crew member who is a true artiste. Jorge Jacobs is a professional sign painter, and if you don't know exactly what that means, don't worry. All will be explained. For now, just know that Jorge is a creative member of a production's art department. Jorge, welcome to Out of Frame.
Thank you very much for having me.
How are you feeling today?
Yeah, I'm all good.
Good.
It's a bit cold, but I'm all right.
It's not cold in here.
Oh no, in here it's lovely. It's a bit cold outside though.
Do you know what? I accidentally wore ankle socks.
That's a rookie error. I saw that when I come in, I was just like, she's brave.
Yeah. It's almost like it's my first rodeo. Before we get into exactly what your role in film involves, I would love to get to know you a little bit better.
Cool.
So I've got two questions to find out a little bit more about you through your love of film. Are you ready?
I am.
What's the last film that you watched that really inspired you?
It's not a recent film, but I watched it again recently, is Smokey and the Bandit.
Ooh.
I love old films. And I really, really love like films that I watched as a kid and films that like came out when I was a kid. And with Smoking the Bandit, I hadn't watched it probably for about 20 years. And it's a film that like I would always watch with my granddad. And when I'm not painting signs for films, I paint a lot of cars as well and do a lot of bike painting, so motorbike painting and helmets and stuff like that. So I was like, I'll stick this on because it's the right kind of vibe. You know, it's a film about a big car chase. And and then I just started painting. I'm very, very influenced by lots of films that I watch. I'm very influenced by music and films, I would say, are my top sort of inspirations.
What would the title of your biopic be?
I thought about this the other day. It's not really appropriate to say like
You need to give me a podcast appropriate version.
A podcast appropriate version.
Absolutely.
I'll say one like I'm not finished yet. It's probably a good one. It is a good one to have. That's the backup.
To the one that can't be named.
Yeah, to the rude one.
Yeah.
That's a good backup.
Okay, Jorge, now that we know each other a little bit better, can you tell me exactly what it is that you do as a sign painter on a film?
Sign painting in general is it's almost an advertising art form. So it's for like a lot of outside of film, I paint a lot of cars, I paint a lot of shop fronts, things like that. I also do like a lot of like personal commissions for people where they're like, oh, can you paint this funny thing for my missus? Or, my friend Fred, when he was proposing to his wife, he asked me to do a sign that basically said, will you marry me? And stuff like that, which is really lovely stuff to do. But in terms of film, it's more for background sort of set pieces. So if there's a big street scene, myself and other sign writers will come in and we'll paint all the shop fronts so it looks as authentic as possible.
Because, sometimes, especially on this podcast, when I'm speaking to people with various different roles, their job isn't necessarily what it says on the tin.
Yeah.
But your job is pretty much like what I imagine it to be.
It is exactly what you imagine it to be. It is painting signs. So
what's your background? Because I can imagine at school you were a super creative kid.
I always wanted to draw, always wanted to do art. There was a very brief stint where I wanted to be a hairdresser. Not great. And I come from a very creative family. My mum is the most independent woman on the planet. Like, she can pretty much do any form of DIY. My nan does flower arranging, that sort of stuff. My great-granddad was a watercolour artist, so it's kind of in the blood.
In the DNA.
And I was like, how can I make this more niche? What's no one doing anymore? I'll do sign writing. So.
When did it click for you that sign writing and sign painting was a job? Because trust me, it's not the most obvious thing when you think of a TV or film.
I was doing graphics at uni and we had a a project that was based around typography, and I've always kind of avoided typography because I'm dyslexic, and that's like the illustration and the art of letters, and I've always really struggled with it. Like if you gave me like a paragraph of just like black lettering on white, having to read that, I'm like, oh God, this is awful. And so I've always kind of stayed away from it. And then we had a sign writer come into our uni to do a talk and to do like a sort of workshop. A guy called Jed Palmer, who is incredible. And that was the turning point for me, just seeing what he did. And I was like, oh, like, this is it.
Like 1 second.
I was just like, that's what I want to do.
And I would assume that with your dyslexia as well, when you're sort of creating signs that are lettering, if it's big or even a small sign, it's the shapes that you're after, or you're sort of like copying from sketches that you've done or drawings that you've done.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's less about the spelling and more about an image.
Yeah, I would like to point out the spelling is very important.
Oh no, of course, no regrets,
like,
you know.
Yeah, like no regrets.
Yeah,
but like there are, there's definitely been points where I have spelt things wrong. So accidents do happen, but nothing that can't be corrected. And like half the job is knowing how to fix the mistakes.
What was your introduction into the film industry?
I was actually asked by another couple of sign writers, Archie Salandin and Mia Warner, to come and help them on a job at Langley Bury, which is just down the road from where we are, on a show called The Nevers. And they sort of asked, they knew I was local, and they said, oh, would you mind coming in, giving us a hand with this? Like, we're not going to lie to you. Like, the work that like you're going to be doing is not going to be like the best. It's going to be a lot of like getting patterns ready and stuff like that. And I was like, and at this point I was like, absolutely, because it wasn't so much the film set, it was working with those two.
Okay.
Who are like, they're part of a group called Alphabetics Anonymous, who are like almost like a young sign writers collective. I think there's about 6 of them. And turned up, and it turns out there was a lot more work than initially thought. And they were like, oh, actually, you are going to be doing like helping us with the painting and the murals and stuff like that. From then, day one, I fell in love with like just being on a film set. And I'd never thought about it before. I'd never, ever thought about working in film before. And I was like, oh, this is where it starts.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, because of your interests and kind of what you decided that you wanted to do based on the gentleman coming into your uni, did you ever vision yourself here at Leavesden or on film sets doing it for essentially the world to see?
Not at all. And it is wild to me that I never thought about it, because I've always been a massive film buff, but never thought about bringing sign painting into it. And like, because I just hadn't noticed it, hadn't paid attention to it. Like, and now that obviously I'm a sign painter, I look at signs everywhere. Of
course.
Like, it's a nightmare. It takes us about 4 hours to get anywhere because I was slowing down in the car. Like, oh,
look at the swoop on that.
It's like hand painted. That is. That's gold leaf. That's lovely. But I'd never thought about how the two can fit together, and now they fit together. I'm like, there's like, and some of the stuff I've worked on has been incredible, and I think once like graphic designers and set decorators and production designers see how quick it gets done, how it gets done, and what gets done, they're like, oh, let's add some more in. We need more signs everywhere.
The film industry encompasses, I would go out on a limb and say, all interests. If there's something that you can do in the real world, you can probably do it in film. And it just takes that connection to happen. And hopefully this is a bridge for those who are listening to know that it doesn't have to be directing. It doesn't have to be producing. It doesn't have to be the most, like acting. Hasn't got to be the most obvious things that you think of when it comes to a film. There's room for all industry.
I think the bridge is the problem. And I think massively, like when I was at school, so I left school 15 years ago, that the idea of working in film wasn't even floated about. They didn't even really like you working in the arts because it wasn't a lucrative career. And money's great, but I want to be able to get up and go to work every day and like my job. And I've done jobs where I've worked in an office. You know, I was a graphic designer in an office for a little while, and I hated it. I used to have like panic attacks going in. Like, I hate sitting in an office. I'm no good at it. But if you stuck me on like a wobbly scaffold in like 40 mile an hour winds right at the top painting a mural, I'll be like, oh, this is fine. I'm having a great time. But if you sit me down in an office, I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I'm panicking. I hate it. I've really sort of found like my happiness working in film. And, you know, I might be on something for 6 months, I might be on it for 6 days. But like, even if I'm only there for 6 days, I'm having the time of my life.
How does what you do fit in with the wider art department? So who do you work closely with? Because I can imagine that the set decorator and people like that are important.
My points of call are usually graphics, the entire graphics department, production designer, and set decorators are usually like my 3 points of call. 80% of the time it is probably graphic designers who I'm working with. You know, some graphic designers are very sort of specific in what they want. Some graphic designers are just like, we need this, it needs to be in red, do what you want.
And I was just about to ask how much creative freedom you have with things, but I guess it depends, right?
It really does depend. I mean, I did a film called The Boys in the Boat, and it was set during the Depression in America. I was like, I can do all of these signs exactly how you want them, but it's the Depression. So I imagine that a lot of the signs would look faded and torn apart and old. And Sophie Powell, the graphic designer, was just like, yeah, go ahead, do what you need to do.
Every week on Out of Frame, we give our lovely listeners an insight into how the film industry works. And you've brought something into the CrewHQ studio that shows what your job is like on a day-to-day basis. And for once, I recognise this object. So can you describe what you're holding?
I wasn't really sure like what to bring. I don't have any signs or anything from any films that I've worked on, because the cathartic side of it is that I paint these signs and then the sets come down and the sets might get destroyed. They might go into an archive or something. I never see them again until they're on the screen. And I'm like, this is quite cathartic.
So it's kind of like you're a seal and your kids just go off.
Yeah.
And you're like, have a good life.
And I was like, I paint those signs and I'm like, I'll see you around.
Farewell.
So these are my brushes in my Rights of Limb brush tin. Very old sign painting company. They do like special sign writing brushes, gold leaf, paint, etc., etc. But these are my brushes.
They look like they've been loved and worked to death.
They have been loved. They've been worked to death. That's a stone that's in there.
Of course.
But they have been battered and broken and, you know, used within an inch of their life. I'm sure every time I open the tin, all the brushes are like, not today. I can't take it again. Leave me alone. But yeah, like, I try and paint every day, whether it's just like, you know, just a little like experiment or ideas or just running a quick alphabet off. I always try and at least get something down. So yeah, they're my babies. My children.
What productions have you used these on?
Literally everything that I've worked on.
I need names.
You need names?
I need names.
The Boys in the Boat. That was the first film job that I was like lead sign writer on.
You were the guy.
I was like, here I am. Here I am.
I have arrived.
I've arrived. They came with me on that. They were here at Leavesden with me on Beetlejuice. Which was incredible, and that really changed my life.
How did it change your life?
Because I've always been like a huge Tim Burton fan.
Yeah.
I was a massive emo kid. I still am a massive emo kid. Like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's who I am. And Lisa Williams, who I've worked with before, was the graphic designer on Beetlejuice. And I'd heard rumours that she was on it. And then she called me out of the blue one day. She was like, oh, George, it's Lisa Williams. I was like, is this the call? Is this it? is this the moment? And she was just like, it's your time. It's your time, mate. And I was like, yes! Like, I literally screamed to the point that my mum came into my room and she was like, what's going on? And I was like, I got Beetlejuice.
Oh.
I got it. And was just like in floods of tears. And you know what? I wasn't there for long. I only did like, I think a max a week on it. But just even like the things it did for my confidence, I was like, this is everything that I wanted, like just being able to work on a film that a young me would watch and be obsessed with. And then I was painting a window and Tim Burton come up behind me and said I was doing a good job, and I was like, no, thank you. So they've been with me through that as well.
You know what, Georgia? First of all, you're hilarious.
Thank you.
And we're probably going to have to cut out all of my titters and giggles. But what I wanted to say is it's really refreshing to see someone sitting here holding paintbrushes, because obviously technology is changing all the time and there's so much AI and, you know, you can sort of like ask any AI assistant to make a logo for you and make a sign for you. So for you to sit here and be like, these are the tools that I use.
Oh, absolutely. Like AI can do a lot of things, but it can't replicate human error. And human error is important because it adds character, which is part of why I love sign writing so much and why I love sign writing for films. Because you can put a vinyl sticker up and every letter can be perfect. But because it's so perfect, you can tell it's not done by... It's not hand-painted. Like a sign in the Victorian era is not going to be vinylly stuck on. It needs to have that element of like a wobbly line, like a little misspelling, maybe where you can see the paint's faded and stuff. It needs to look like that because it needs to be real.
Thank you for bringing that in.
That's okay. Oh yeah, these are my brushes. I love them.
And they love you.
And they do not. They want me to stop.
George, you've worked on some incredible productions, and one of them was Tyler Perry's war film, The 688. For anyone who hasn't seen it, what is it about?
So the 688 they were the first, and I'm pretty sure the only, but don't quote me on that, all-female black battalion, and they came in World War II, and they came over from America to help sort out the issue with the post office, because none of the soldiers were getting their letters. None of the soldiers' families knew anything about what was happening. They had no idea what was happening to their families on the front line. And it's basically about the racism they faced, even though they were trying to help. And the things that they had to face along the way as well. It's got like Kerry Washington's character is insane in it. She's so good. She plays, I think she's captain. And she's like super badass, like really, really cool in it. And basically they come over from America, turn up, and there's these massive aeroplane hangars, and they are just filled to the brim with letters, and nothing is in the right order. People haven't heard from their families for months.
What did you enjoy most about working on the 688?
When I went onto that, I knew nothing about 688, and they sent me to location to do a load of signs. And I walked into the canteen, and I have never seen anything like it. It was just absolutely like chock full of women of colour, like specifically black women, in all of these army uniforms. And I was super confused. And then I watched it and I was like, oh, these women were like, cool. This is insane. Like, why don't people know about this? Why don't people who look like me know about this? This is mental. Like, we did 3 years of World War II at high school and you didn't mention these women once. I just find that insane.
And what was your role in that production?
It was a couple of shop fronts, a lot of crosses for like gravestones or like grave headers and stuff. And you see a lot of that sort of stuff up close in the film, which is really, really cool. My favourite thing that I did on that was I did a window where the main character is sign writing on the window, and I had to show her, like, this is how I would hold this. This is how I would hold a brush. I use this finger to balance myself, even though I'm using the brush, and like was getting the right amount of paint ready for her, and was just like, this is how you would do it. And she, at first she really struggled. She was like, there's so much happening. And I was just like, don't even think about your left hand. You're just guiding it and stuff like that. And I kind of realised how hard it is to sort of teach someone exactly how I would do something. But yeah, that was a really, really cool film. I really enjoyed working on that.
It's a really good film. When you watched it back and you saw the scene with the signwriting, were you like, choreograph that? I
think I'd popped out of the living room and I just heard like all my family screaming, and I was like, what's happened? They were like, team signwriting. And I watched it back and I was like, oh yeah, I did that.
They should have put you as stunt coordinator on the credits.
Choreographer, director of signwriting, choreography.
When you're working on period content, what challenges does that create? Because I can imagine that accuracy becomes everything.
Spelling, I would say, is the biggest issue I have with that, especially if I've got to design something, because like I've said, I'm dyslexic. My spelling isn't great at the best of times, and then making sure the colours are correct to the time as well, and just making sure that nothing's too bright, especially if it's something Victorian. Like, you don't want to go into bright, because then all of a sudden everything looks like really dark, and then there's just this really
fluorescent neon.
So just toning stuff down, making sure things have got the right amount of distress in them, much like myself.
Something else that you've worked on, and we've already gushed about it, but completely different, is Beetlejuice. And that's a film that is known for its abstract set and story as well, and style. What was it like practically working in something like that?
It's insane. Genuinely, like, when I say I've got no words, it's hilarious because I've always got words. But those days that I was working on Beetlejuice, and I did some days from home as well, the work in it was quite varied. Like, there's a sign that I did that you see right at the end for Dracula's castle, which is all like Gothic lettering, German lettering, which I enjoy doing anyway because it's over the top and it's quite like harsh, and I really enjoy seeing it. But then in contrast with that, there's the scene in the dry cleaners where I had to paint all of these sort of show cards that say, like, you know, take your clothes out of the afterlife and things like that. And they're all very sort of like American, like blues, reds, like really bright, bold colours. And then I'm painting a window in the police officer's office that says like Afterlife Detective, and how they wanted it to look. They wanted it to look a bit sort of like ghostly. So I did it in cream, but with a window I'd probably like back it up a couple of times to make it really solid, but they wanted to see those brush strokes and stuff. Every sign I did on that was different, which was really, really fun.
And flexing your artistic muscles as well, I imagine.
Absolutely. Like,
Beetlejuice is infamous for its colour palette. What kind of conversations are you having with the wider art department when it comes to colour? Because, you know, green to me is not green.
Yeah.
There are so many different shades.
There's so many different shades of green. There wasn't too many conversations about that in that sort of sense, but I think that's purely because I know the first Beetlejuice so well. So I knew what I was getting into. I knew the sort of colours that I had to use. It was almost like I already knew what I was doing. Yeah. Because I just kind of studied it.
It's like you revised for that exam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like pretty much. Like when I was at college, I took film studies and I did a massive essay on Tim Burton. So I was like, oh, this is a full circle moment. And I kind of already know what I'm doing because I know these films so well.
What's something that you've worked on that's been particularly tricky?
Boys in the Boat. I thought I was going to be there for like 3 weeks. I ended up there for 6 months. I was there for the entire run pretty much of that film. And it pushed me because I am not someone who is confident in an admin sense. I've never really liked to sort of take charge in a work environment. Mm-hmm. Again, like that's always been like a little bit of a struggle with me. It's a confidence issue. and an imposter syndrome issue. But I did it.
How satisfying is it to sit back in the cinema or at home on the couch and watching the telly and to watch something and think, I did that?
Yeah. It's so satisfying. I've promised myself, I was like, I'm not gonna, I really don't want to come across as braggy or like anything like that. But when I watch something, I'm like, that's really cool. That I did that. I painted it, and it's really funny because my partner's dad he's a proper tradie. He's been a plasterer for his entire life, proper tradie. So he can kind of understand sign writing because it's an art form, but it's like a tradesman's art form, and he loves it. And like I come in, he's watching. He's like, "Do you paint that?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Done a good job on that. A lovely job on that." And I'm like, "Thanks, Neil. I know I worked really hard." He's like, "Hey, tell." I'm like, "Thanks."
Feels good though.
It feels really, really good, and I never thought it would. I never thought it would get to this point.
George,
that's me.
We have got a tradition on this podcast where I like to find out just how much my guests know about film.
Right.
So you have chosen a specialist subject within the world of film and TV before coming here today. Mm-hmm. And now is the time that I get to ask you some questions, some film trivia questions on the Harry Potter franchise.
Harry Potter franchise.
Finally!
I know my stuff.
Why Harry Potter?
My favourite film is Hook. My favourite film ever.
Really?
Yeah. That and then Paddington 2. And if you've not seen it, I highly recommend it because no film comes close. It's great.
Okay.
But Harry Potter, I was at that tour for a year. I was sat in a room for 2 weeks doing knowledge training. I could tell you anything. I was like, I'm in it to win it.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Question number 1. What is a firebolt?
What is a firebolt?
Is it A, a wand, B, a broomstick?
It's a broomstick.
Or
Why are we messing through this?
Or C, a spicy cake? Official answer is B?
It's broomstick.
Of course it is. It's extremely fast, of course. Harry Potter gets a gift of a firebolt from his godfather, Sirius Black, who gave it to him after his broom was destroyed.
Mm-hmm. What was the name of his first broom?
The Nimbus 2000.
Thank you. Just checking.
Come on, I'm the quiz master.
No, I'm just checking.
You're in my house.
Oh.
I'll show you my Dobby tattoo later. All right. Question number 2. What pub serves as a gateway between the non-wizarding world and Diagon Alley?
The Leaky Cauldron.
Is it A, the Leaky Cauldron, B, the Dripping Barrel, or C, the Damp Squib? I'm only reading out the other answers because, producer Liv worked really hard on finding funny alternatives. So I just want to make sure I give them the...
I've not got the time to waste on the multiple choice.
All right. Final question. Let's see if you can get a clean sweep. I suspect you might. Question number 3. Complete this iconic line from Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Mm-hmm. Neither can live while the other, A, survives, B, dies, C, breathes.
Neither can live while the other survives.
It's A, survives. Yes, it's made by Sybil Trelawney. Mm-hmm. About Harry Potter and Lord Voldemort, and it means their conflict was so intertwined that neither could have a normal life while the other one was living. 3 out of 3, George.
What can I say? What can I say?
Well done.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I don't know, maybe you should get extra points because you didn't even wait for the other answers.
I didn't. I was that cocky kid from Mastermind who's like, I'm not waiting for the answers.
I love that for you.
I know. Like, I'll have to come on here again and you have to give me a round 2 and make the questions harder.
Yeah. George.
That's me.
To say that I've loved having you on the CrewHQ sofa today would be an understatement. I think you're a joy.
Oh, thank you.
I genuinely think you're a joy.
Thank you. No one says that to me. We're like,
outrageous.
God, you're a pain.
No.
I am a joy.
For someone who's interested in having a career like your own, what would you say is a good first step towards becoming a sign painter or writer in a film?
Sign painter or writer, to be honest, especially when it comes to the arts. Born and bred Luton Town, proper Luton Town, but the arts were not promoted in terms of a career, which I personally always felt that I was only really good at art. If you feel like that's what you want to do, you just have to do it and you just have to practice. because it's the only way it's going to happen. I was like dead certain this is not going to happen for me. Like, I don't really understand how to get into it, don't understand how to do it. The only way you are going to do it is by doing it. And it's the feeling of sort of just like it sounds ridiculous and it sounds so cringy, but if you believe that you can achieve it, you will achieve it. You have to believe in yourself, or no one else is going to believe in you. You know, sometimes it's a bit fake it till you make it, but ultimately, if you know that you can do it, go and do it. Like, you know, get in contact with people whose films that you loved, or the, you know, parts of films that you thought, God, that's amazing, I wonder who did that. Research it, practice, just get in there and do it, because it's the only way it's going to get done.
Do you think that a background in graphic design is necessary?
I wouldn't say it's necessary. I found sign writing through graphics, which is why it was necessary to me. But sign writing's been around a lot longer than like graphic design has in that sort of sense, you know. There's always been like little old men climbing up ladders, painting signs on shop fronts, and now lots of women, lots of young people. I mean, predominantly when sign writing first became a thing, it was blokes. And now we're at a point where literally everyone is sign writing. We have these amazing meetups where it's people of all different creeds, colours, like everything, just getting together and painting signs and doing different things and learning off of each other. Like, I love those meetups. And what really, really sort of like pushed it for me was I went to an all women's and non-binary person's sign writing meetup, and I was just like, oh, this is cool. There's loads of people here who are just different. Anyone can do it. People should be trying it. Let's just keep it alive.
What key skills have you learnt that are important to being a sign writer, specifically within the film industry?
Don't forget your mile stick.
Your who what?
Your mile stick. So your mile stick is it's a stick that we have with a ball on the end.
Okay, yeah.
And like cotton and suede around the end of it to stop you marking the sign, but you basically use it to balance. I was notorious for forgetting it, to the point that whenever I left the house for a job, don't forget your mile stick was like texted to me by someone. So never forget your mile stick. Always bring a lunch. You never know where you're going to be. And always bring your warm stuff. Even if it looks like it's going to be a lovely day, things always end up taking longer than they're going to be. And then you're out there in the middle of the night, freezing your bits off. Make sure you're nice and warm.
What do you love most about what you do?
It's instant gratification. Like, it is the painting a sign and then just stepping back from it and being like, oh yeah, that looks cool. And getting to use, depending on the era, getting to use like certain sort of styles that I don't usually get to do. Like the sort of style that I would use on a Victorian shop front is not what's going to be on a hot rod racer.
George, before you go, there will be people who are listening who will be at the very start of their career, and the film industry, as you probably know, doesn't necessarily always feel like an easy place to navigate. So what would be your advice to make the most out of day one on a production?
Most out of day one on a production?
Apart from don't forget your mile stick.
Don't forget your mile stick. Don't forget your mile stick. I would rather be labelled annoying for asking too many questions than labelled a nuisance for not asking enough. Just go in and ask as many questions, because at the end of the day, might be annoying for asking all those questions, but ultimately you need to get that job right, because it's a very fast-paced environment. And like, I also try and help as much as I can on a production as well. Like, if I've not got any sign writing to do and I'm on standby and stuff like that, I'm like, hey, is there any sort of like little bits that you just want me to paint or just like get on with? Because I think you can learn so much by doing a job that isn't yours, that you can take into your job. And just talking to people, because then you've made friends with people. They're going to help you out as well. We all need to be helping each other when it comes to a production.
Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for watching and listening. I'll be back right here at CrewHQ to give you more insight and more fascinating conversations on the film and TV industry. Until next time, take care.